trip to Walt Disney World here in Florida, and you are on one of the most important planning steps, and that is, what are you comfortable spending when you are coming on your vacation? We're going to talk about how much it costs to come to a vacation here at Walt Disney World in 2024. 2023 already has a lot of deals, so that'll skew our results. So 2024, how much is it going to cost? Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video because we have a lot of budget saving tips, and I am so excited to get started. Let's go, pal. Now, there are 6 factors we have to think about when planning your Disney budget. Those are accommodations, transportation, tickets. We're going to talk about dining. We'll talk about our souvenirs and our specialty add-ons. Now, these are things that we're going to talk about here today. And before we do, my name is Jordan Ashley, and together we vacation. I am a travel advisor, and I'd be honored to help you out with the planning process at no cost to you. No need to add that into your budget. So I have experience as a former Disney cast member. Now I'm a Disney mom. I've taken my kids to Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line over 100 times now, going on 200. So I would love to use my experience and expertise, my resources to help you plan, whether that is hopping on a call to talk about budget or maybe some of your priority items you would like to fitting in what might be the best fit for your family. I would love to hop on a call, or we can discuss it over email. But let's jump into our first section of our budget, and that is accommodations. So when it comes to planning your Disney vacation, when you are thinking about what it's going to cost, you do have to factor in what time of year you plan on traveling. So if you plan on coming during those very busy times of year, the peak season, almost all of these categories that we'll be talking about today will likely be a little bit more expensive. So just keep that in mind. And we are gonna plan out an imaginary family's vacation today, just to give you some rough numbers of a couple different options. So we actually are traveling during one of the peak seasons. We're gonna go during spring break in April of 2024, and we're gonna plan for a family of 4 with a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old and 2 adults. Now, when it comes to planning their accommodations, let's think about all the different options. Each one of these has their own pros and cons, and we can talk about that more and what might be right for your family on our planning call. But let's talk about the basics. So we have our deluxe resorts at Disney. We have our moderate and value resorts. We have our on-property non-Disney hotels. We have our off-property good neighbor hotels that are Disney. We have our Airbnbs, and we have some that are just other hotels that are not even affiliated with Disney at all. So there are so many different options when it comes to planning your vacation, and again, each have their pros and cons. We're going to talk about 2 different options here today. We're going to pick a moderate resort at the Disney resort, and then we are also going to talk about one of the good neighbor resorts that is off property at Flamingo Crossing, and we're going to price those 2 out so that you can see just the comparison. Now, if you're looking for a week-long trip for our family of 4 in April, if you were going to the Caribbean Beach Resort, which is our Disney hotel, you're going to be looking at around this number. That is before any discounts. Now, Disney does sometimes throw out some discounts closer to the travel dates. You never know. And then this is our Flamingo Crossing Hotel. That is the Town Place Suites. This is going to be something that you're going to likely see throughout the country. This is a chain of hotels, and this was one you're gonna have to pay in full if you don't buy it with your tickets in a package. But there are other pros and cons as well. We can again talk about those, like this includes your early park entry. You can just hop on a Skyliner to get to a couple of the resorts, or hop on a Disney bus, whereas this one you'll still have to pay for some of our other features that we'll be talking about next. Let's talk about transportation for a minute. Now, there are a few things you're going to have to consider when you think about your transportation on your Walt Disney World vacation. The first one is, how are you going to get here? There is a lot of options. You can fly, take a bus, take a train. You can drive yourself, of course, and then if you are not driving yourself, you have to consider, how are you going to get from the Orlando area, which is where, like downtown, where you're going to have your planes and your trains and your bus transfers. You're going to have to transfer from those all the way to the Disney resort. Now, if you are staying on Disney property, a good option for you, if you were flying in, for example, is to take a bus or a ride share. Now, those can cost you anywhere from $35 all the way to $250. So depending on what you choose is what you get. And then there is also, if you plan to stay off Disney property, you might want to get a rental car because there are a lot of reasons for that. And those can run you about $250 for your lowest tier during that week. So factor that into your budget if you plan to stay off property. We could talk about why it's important to potentially have a rental car if you were staying off property on our call together. But then you have to consider also, if you drove your own car or if you got a rental car, you are going to have to park at the Disney parks, which means that you are going to be paying $20 per day when you park at the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, etc. You are going to have to factor that into your budget as well. Okay, pal, let's talk about planning your tickets. Now, this is a complicated topic. Planning a Disney vacation nowadays can be really complicated because there are so many different combinations and options and offers that can be made to build so many different types of packages for your family, which we could talk about on a planning call together so that we can get in detail. But for now, let's focus on that family of four, that imaginary family of four that we are planning for this video. I'm going to add in a 4-day ticket for them because they are going to travel in on Sunday. They're going to have their arrival at the hotel, relax, and have some fun, potentially going around their own hotel or going to Disney Springs. The next day, they're going to go to their first park on Monday. Tuesday is another park day. Wednesday, we're going to have a resort day, potentially resort hop depending on where you're at. And then we're going to go to another park on Thursday and Friday before leaving on Saturday to go back home. This is just one of the many options that you can choose of ways to plan your itinerary. I've done it so many different ways. Now, these 4-day tickets for your family of four will cost approximately this right now without any discounts. And if you add it on to your hotel, if it's one of the Disney hotels or Good Neighbor hotels, then you can make it into a package, and two things can happen. One, you might decrease the price a little bit, but number two, and the biggest one, is that you can just submit a deposit of $200 instead of paying for your entire ticket package in full right when you buy it. You can reserve it for your vacation. You can reserve it for $200 down and then pay the full amount by a month before you travel. So that's kind of a big deal, at least it would be to me when I'm planning my budget. I like to space things out, but I guess it depends on you and what your preferences are. So that is, of course, not a requirement. But if you do plan to stay off property, then you will have to pay for your tickets in full at time of purchase. Okay, let's talk about dining. Now, there is some exciting news on that front. Starting in early January of 2024, you can now add the dining plan to your Disney vacation, depending on where you stay, of course. And there are a lot of pros and cons to this, and it depends on how you like to vacation, whether or not it might be worth it for your family, and that's okay, we'll talk about that on our call together. But just to give you an idea, this is what it costs currently. There are two different types, so you can have one with the quick service, or you can have signature dining, and again, that's a lot of details that go into that. We'll have a full video, so be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. But then let's talk about what it would look like if you did not get the dining package. Now, while that will take a lot of the stress away, you could also go about it with just groceries and eating inside the parks. Now, the numbers can vary greatly here, just depending again on how you like to vacation. Now, I get away with going to the parks with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and lots of snacks. That's because I'm local, and if I bought Disney World food every single day, I would have no money. So that's okay. So I bring food into the parks, and Disney is great with letting you do that. However, there are a lot of really fun places to eat, lots of fun snacks at the park, so it's hard to resist. Plus, it can be kind of tricky to bring in the food if you don't have a good strategy for that, and especially if you're not bringing a stroller with littles. We could talk about that more in our planning video, and you can hop in our newsletter where I give you tips and tricks about how to bring food into the parks and do other little tips and tricks type activities. not the best way to say that, but you get my drift. So back to our groceries and dining. How much is that going to cost you? Well, it can cost you however much you think groceries typically cost your family for a week, all the way up to $1,000 a day for a Disney dining day. That's right. Some people can spend up to $1,000 depending on which restaurants you go to and how many snacks you get. Now, more realistically, I'd say about a few $100s a day might be more realistic depending on how you dine, but it can get up there if you plan on doing a lot of those character dinings, some of that really specialty dining, themed dining. You're going to be spending a good bit of money. So you have quite the range, and it's up to you whether or not you choose one side of the scale or the other. Now, if this video has been helpful to you so far, be sure to sprinkle some pixie dust on that like button and hit that subscribe and notification bell if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on a video. Now, we're going to move on to our souvenir section. Now, this is something that can, again, vary greatly depending on your family, your budget, what you would prefer, but let's talk about some of your options. Now, it can go from almost free to several $100s depending on what you prefer. Now, there are a lot of free options in the parks of things that you can get as a memory or souvenirs. So things like your Epcot, you can get stamps around the world, and your cards, you can get your book and badges with the Wilderness Explorer program, and there are so many other options. Check the description box below for a long list, and you can download those for free just to give you an idea. But there is also the reality that you're going to see these amazing things in the parks. Your kids are going to see them, you're going to see them, and you can expect to spend anywhere from $20 to at least $40, $50 per person. That is a very low range. So if you want to get one souvenir per person per family, let's just say about $100 would be the lowest that you're going to be able to go for that. So we're going to put that in our budget for this Family of Fours trip, just to give you an idea. But there are many, many other things that you might want to buy. It is going to be hard for you to keep that budget to $100. Just keep that in mind. So if you do want to keep it to $100, go into it with the right expectations. And if not, then that's okay too. Just have an idea of what that's going to look like for you and your family, so that when you go in and you want to buy this like $200 lightsaber or droid, or if you want to buy this really awesome Spirit jersey or Loungify bag, then you will at least have some proper expectations. Okay, let's talk about the next thing, which is our extras and add-ons, and this covers a wide range of things. That includes our Mickey's Not So Scary Party, our Very Merry Party, we're talking our fireworks cruises and our fireworks dessert parties, you're talking about your memory maker and your water park and sports option, your park hopper, you're talking your mini golf, you're golfing, you're going with our VIP tours or your backstage tours. There are so many things on this list of extras and add-ons. Your trip to Disney World can be different each and every time, and that's why I love it here so much. I've been here 10 years, living in Mickey's backyard, and I still haven't done it all. So there are so many different options for you, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to talk about a couple and add those on for our family. We're going to talk about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and a memory maker. Oh wait, we are planning for April, so let's talk our we're going to do a dessert party at Magic Kingdom where we can watch the fireworks and have some awesome desserts and drinks. And then we're going to add on that advanced purchase of Memory Maker, and those are your prices for those currently. Now, some of these things you're definitely going to want to lock in the prices right away, and you can potentially take them off of your vacation package later on. But if you book it right away, you can always add on a discount later, but you cannot get away from those prices increasing. Prices will increase. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point, other than discounts, which again can be added later. So moral of the story, book things early and you can always decrease those prices with discounts later. Okay, we're about to give you some of the best budgeting tips and tricks, but first let's talk about what is the grand total for this Family of Fours vacation in spring break. That is before you talk about our transportation to the Orlando area, flights, and all the different combinations of options. There's just too many variables, so we did not include that. So factor that in as well. But also we decided to choose the Caribbean Beach Resort because there's just so many benefits that go along with staying at that resort specifically and the Disney property itself. So I added that one in. We can talk about that if you like. But before you plan your Disney vacation, before you start looking or talk to an expert like me even, it is important to have a general range for your budget. It does not have to be exact, just the general range is a good idea so that you don't have the wrong expectations going into your planning process. It'll be so much more fun. Speaking of fun, let's hop on a planning call together. We can get a personalized consultation so that I can help you plan your vacation at no cost to you, and I can help you plan things around your budget, maybe factor some things in that you didn't think of. I would be honored to do that for you and your family so that you could stress less and focus on the memories. Now you could do that by hopping on a planning call with me, scheduling it down in the description box below. If you don't see a time that works for you, be sure to request it. You can also fill out a guest interest form, down in the description box below, or just send me an email here at jordanashley@fantasticalvacations.com, and I would love to help you out. Now I'm gonna give you some rapid fire 3 quick budgeting tips for you. And the first one is, as you might expect, use a travel agent. We're free most of the time. I am, at least. And so we do not add to your budget, but we can help you reduce it if you need to. So I can help you make sure that you are staying up to date if there's any new deals, and I can add those onto your current package so that you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to miss out on those. And I can give you all the best deals to start with. So there's that. Now, number 2 is planning your food at the parks. Now, you might enjoy a lot of the specialty dining, but knowing which ones are worth it for you and which ones are better as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or maybe some other snacks that you bring into the parks, that will save you a lot of money that you can focus on those really cool specialty dining things that you really want to do instead of having just a regular hamburger that you can have anywhere. Number 3 is you can bring your own souvenirs into the parks. So your bubble wands, all of the light up toys, things like that. You can bring your own at a fraction of the cost. And those are just 3 tips that I have. I have so many more for you. We get by on a Disney budget all the time, and I would love to share those ideas with you. Now, be sure to check out this next video in the planning playlist so that you can plan your Disney vacation with confidence so that you feel less stressed and you can focus on the memories. So check out this next video and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would love to see what you think about planning your Disney budget down in the comments below. If you think that this was a helpful video, be sure to give it a like, and I will see you on the next video.